Hi guys, this is John, and this is another episode of the Meatgistics podcast. As you can see, I don't have Austin with me here today. I've got Bruce Borowski and I've got Brandon Wilmoth. And they're both with the National Wild Turkey Federation. They were nice enough to come in and talk to us today. We're going to talk a little bit of turkey hunting, a little bit of other things hunting, and just in general have a good time. But the first thing we got to do, as always, is talk about the beers we have. So I've got a Left Hand Getting Tiki with It Nitro Pina Colada Wheat. And the reason I got this is I wasn't able to go to our normal beer store. And this was the only thing that didn't seem like, we'd either had it on here before or just very well known. This has a ridiculous amount going on in it. I don't know if it's good or bad that it has that much going on, but 7.5% alcohol, so I'm gonna say it's good.
There you go.
That works. All right, so I'm drinking the Alaskan Brew Company. It's an amber. Looks like we got a 5.3. I was trying to go something kind of the New Belgium, the fat tire. So you suggested this, and I would agree.
Yeah.
It's just like a fat tire.
All right, I'm going with the 2020 Summerfest. It's from Sierra Nevada, 5%, and actually it's real smooth, not real hoppy. So
yeah,
great
Sierra
suggestion.
Nevada makes great. Their pale ale's got a little bit too much hops in it, but other than that, they make great beers.
Oh, it's really good.
I'm like you. I hate hops.
Yeah,
Can't
not a big
stand
hoppy
them.
guy.
It tastes like you put too much wasabi on a piece of sushi.
Yeah.
And it's just not fun.
There you go.
All right, so let's talk about the National Wild Turkey Federation. What is it? Why should people be paying attention to this, trying to help out? What should they be doing?
Bruce, you want to do the story? You want me to do the
you
story?
can go ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead,
So basically, the National Wild Turkey Federation started in 1973. So kind of our claim to fame, we brought turkeys back. So basically, we're at 1 million. Now we're at 7 million. Did it happen overnight? No. So there's been a lot of working. We have various models. So 30 years of putting this back together, not 30 years, 50 years. I cut 20 years
50,
off there. That would not be good. So basically, it's blood, sweat, and tears. Volunteers. We can't do this without volunteers. We got chapter ran events. We got national events. We got biologists on the ground. We got foresters on the ground. It's save the habitat, save the hunt. I mean, it takes a whole... People don't realize all the working parts that are involved. From somebody sitting in an office in South Carolina to somebody cutting trees in Arizona. There's a lot going on. It's hard to say the whole story because there's so much of it.
Sure.
But I mean, it's definitely a good organization to be involved in. We continue to working hard through all the craziness of 2020. And what I forget.
Yeah, no, I think you're doing great. But the biggest thing is it truly is about the volunteers that support us and that are out there helping. And we're big into the youth. The Jake's program, Wheeling Sportsmen, Women in the Outdoors is really big right now. And also what we're finding now too is there's a lot of people that are coming into it, a lot of guys that are coming into it that haven't had the experience of being raised by a parent or an aunt or uncle, that someone that has been in the outdoors. So they don't even know where to start. So we got chapters in our colleges and stuff like that. And then what we're seeing is the younger kids are just saying, well, I don't even know how to start. Okay, I've got a turkey tag, but how do I field dress a turkey? Okay, I've got a deer tag. How do I field dress a deer? So I think those volunteers getting together, and we're reaching out to more and more platforms, and we're huge into getting kids involved.
Yeah.
Our youth programs, the Jake's programs, stuff like that. A lot of mentor programs coming out that are big where we're giving back.
Sure.
So-
We do a lot of work with outdoor mentors that pass it on.
Yep.
Sure. Yep.
Trying to get
Mike and Brittany. Yep, absolutely.
They're great guys.
Good
We've
people.
had him on the podcast. We'll have her on the podcast. I mean, there's very few things we won't do for that organization. I mean,
Good
they are
people. Yeah,
perfect. Yep.
we actually support them as well.
Good.
So they come. We have what's called the Super Fund as well. So as we raise money in different banquets, so the Super Fund, and then if people are looking to do something, they can apply for the Super Fund, like pass it on, apply for
Okay.
it. It's kind of like an application or a grant process.
Sure.
So starting a shooting team, starting pass it on. Want a new ATV for the local Forest Service, super fun.
Okay.
So of course everything's different right now as we're just trying to raise money to keep the lights on. But we make our money work. Our money is not sitting in a bank waiting for somebody to make a decision later. Most likely we've already spent it before we even raised it. So that keeps us going.
But where we're at 91 cents out of every dollar that is donated hits the ground.
That's excellent.
We're the highest of all the NGOs.
Yeah.
That come out and we're able to leverage. And the way we do that is we leverage it through different organizations and stuff like that. We also have scholarships for high school students. Okay. So the local chapters, state level, and then national level. So we're trying to give back to the community and give back to the kids as much as we can. So.
Yeah, and we've said it a few times on this podcast, and I'm sure people are sick of hearing me saying it, but there are a few silver linings that are going to come out of COVID.
Oh, without
a doubt. One of them is more people paying attention to how they get their meat.
Oh, yep.
It has the possibility of changing the way we do things. I mean, more people hunting, less factory farming, better for everybody.
Oh, yeah,
for sure.
Oh, it's definitely changing. There's getting a lot more people wanting to know where it's coming from. They don't want a big factory turkey. They want to go out and they want to not only experience it, but go through the process of learning because we got time. I mean, right now, everybody's on their phone. They're on the computer. The outdoors is open still.
Yeah.
No matter what, the outdoors is going to be open. So people are starting to ask more too. I have a lot more people approach me. Hey, you take me out hunting? Absolutely. Let's go. One of the biggest barriers for people not to get in the outdoors is they're afraid to ask.
Sure.
Just ask.
Yep.
Ask a volunteer. You see anybody with NWTF on their shirt, you ask them to go hunting. If they can't personally take you, they know something that's going to go on, like to pass it on people.
Yeah, they'll hook you up.
They're going to hook you up. I mean, they're doing stuff with shooting teams and everything. Ask. There's something involved.
Good.
Yep. Look us up. Look up your local chapters. Each state has them. You can look on a national website or your state local website, Facebook, obviously Instagram. We're all over and obviously willing to help. And even the volunteers in the chapters are just phenomenal about helping others. So we get a lot of people asking, hey, I just moved to Colorado and don't know where to turkey hunt and where do you go? So we'll answer some questions, but we're saying get involved in the local chapter because once you can start meeting other people that are like-minded, it's a lot more, they're willing to, hey, why don't you just jump in and we'll go out and we'll do some scouting ahead of time or look at, some of the, base map and you can look online and kind of do some scouting online and stuff. But it's really.
And if you have someone to go with, you're more likely to actually follow through and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yep. Not, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't really want to go. No, so-and-so, Bruce is waiting for me at the local gas station.
Yep.
I better go. And plus it's fun going with people, know, and plus learning, you learn from one and another. Be like, oh, you do that because of this. Well, I do it because of this, because we're all taught different, So just going out and experiencing that stuff. And then sometimes it is also nice to be alone,
Sure.
and be with nature. But that comes with time. Being able to feel comfortable. A lot of these things, a lot of these mentorships, it's not a one and done deal. Okay, I took you out turkey hunting. Now I'm done with you. No, hey, let's go dove hunting. Let's go deer hunting. Let's go and process the game. Let's go and cook it.
Right.
Let's go. Let's have a barbecue. This is the way you prepare your dove. Okay, we just went and shot them. Now this is the process. This is what we're going to do. I mean, it is. It's not just hey, we're here, boom, we're done. It's a whole thing from scouting. And there's plenty of things. I mean, turkeys, deer, squirrels, you name it. There's a lot of stuff to chase after, or just even go look. I take my son out a lot, and a lot of times it's scouting, or we're just going to go out and look for sheds, or we're going to go out and look for sign.
Yep.
Or he's going to tell me, I might already see that rub. I'll keep it a secret to myself because he can tell it to me, and his eyes light up, and that just,
look what I found.
Yes, yes. Yep. Like, oh yeah, you did, buddy. We got lucky and we went to Wyoming and we found 10 sheds. It was the best thing in the world because he's going out there picking these
just
things
loving
up.
them.
I mean, I always look at shed hunting as the adult Easter egg hunt. I go out and I look, and everybody's like, man, you got a nice pile. A nice pile. I was like, I've walked many, many miles. I mean, I've done it all. You got a nice pile too out there in Colorado.
Oh yeah. Yep. So yeah, we do. Plus it gets you out, right? And relationship isn't just once a year where you meet someone, and it's in any relationship, right? You got to do things and get together, and you're scouting for the next year. Whether it's deer or elk or turkeys, whatever it is, right? You're out scouting, and it's just getting a family and getting friends. And I'll challenge anyone out there is find someone that is a new hunter and take them out, spend the time with them, and help teach them. Because not everyone grew up in a hunting family like we did or I did. Yeah. I assume you did.
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
But it's like that thing that some people want to get into it, they just don't know how. So it's like I challenge you to find someone and mentor them and actually, let NWTF know, and we'll get you involved in a chapter if you want to help, and just be a part of it.
Yeah, I kind of came. So my dad was school teacher, principal. And I didn't start hunting until 4th grade because a buddy took me hunting.
So late.
Yeah,
Fourth grade.
fourth grade. But my dad had stopped because he was working so much. He officiated football. Well, when I got started back in it, it restarted him. And that's where we're seeing a lot too. You know, that older generation that had to stop to raise family and you know, make a living. You know, if we can cycle them back in. If you bought your license when you're 20, well, now you're 33, you know, we want you to come back. You know, just because it ended there, you know, come back. Let's start doing it again. And we see if we can get the kids fired up at our Jake's camps and stuff, then we get mom and dad to come back. Then we can get. I try every time if I'm at a shooting event and I'm running it and kids are enjoying it. If I can get mom to come over and shoot too, and then I got the hook. Because if mom's in about it, you know dad is going to already be there. It's just, and then they come to the next event, and then they come to the next event. So it's just it's a family process. It's family fun. You know, it's just getting everybody out there and experience. My wife, she deer hunts, she turkey hunts. So my daughter, who is 6, she's 6. She's getting ready. She's fired up. Good. She is going to find a unicorn buck. So if anybody knows where a unicorn buck is, possibly pink, I need those. We can do some trade outs. So, but she's fired up.
Just record it and we can edit it later.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. No, honey, that's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
No, I grew up in a family in upstate New York, Albany area. Hunting wasn't what we did. I moved down to Texas after college, did a couple of dove hunts, couple of turkey hunts. Really, really enjoyed that. But then I went back to New York, and there is a hunting culture in upstate New York, but it's not what it is down here. It's just not. Yeah. It's definitely not. And it definitely wasn't what it was down in Texas. So I fell out of it. I was just like, all right, whatever. And then it wasn't until I came down to Wichita that I started picking it back up. Now, I don't get out anywhere near as much as I would like to. I'm constantly amazed at how people have all this time. I was telling you guys before. I don't have kids. I mean, I have 2 dogs that I, for some reason, treat like they're kids. But like I literally, all my time is always taken up. So I'm always amazed by people who can make the time to do that.
Yeah.
stuff.
So, I mean, it's kind of a priority in my house so I was a school teacher for a dozen years. So all the snow days, I was always hunting. You know, I used to joke around. I would text my superintendent. He actually lived across the way when I still lived in town. And I would text him, be like, hey, can we get a snow day? And he'd be like, no. So he'd be like, okay. And then he would text me like, you're getting a snow day. You got to take my son Alex hunting or whatnot, which I always enjoy taking my students out. But it's priority. I mean, me and my son, I mean, he gets done with school. If I'm able to pick him up, it's always, hey, we going hunting. You know, it might be deer hunting, it might be ducks and geese, or it might just be scouting. So it's just kind of what we do. My kid's spoiled. I live out in the country now. You know, I have a shooting range in my backyard. I got, you know, it's on 13 acres and we get to go out there whenever we want. So opportunity, I mean, but things have to fall into place.
It's also a great thing to get these kids while they're young, give them a positive association with firearms.
Yes.
Get them away from their electronics, which are melting their little brains.
Yes.
And get them outdoors. I mean, you're creating a better overall person when you're doing that.
And the biggest thing is make sure they have the hunter safety education and make sure an adult is always with them, a mentor's with them before you just send them out. But you're exactly right. The more we can get them out, the more we can get engaged. And you know, there's a lot of outfitters and stuff out there that'll donate hunts for youth. And just for that reason, help get them engaged. And you know, parents can come and join, stuff like that. So if anyone's ever looking for opportunities, you know, check with your local outfitters, give them a call. You'd be surprised how many of them will donate a youth pheasant hunt, turkey hunt, deer hunt, elk hunt, whatever it might be. But there's a lot of outfitters that really care about getting that youth involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's the future of
Correct. Yeah, for all of us.
This entire business.
Yes.
Yep. Without that, we're not going forward anymore.
No, yeah, exactly.
No, we're not. No.
I mean, and another thing about the firearm, if you treat it right, it's going to be right. You know, any tool that is misused, even a rake, can be dangerous. Sure. If you swing it around your head or whatever, you clog somebody in the head. You know, I always tell the people that I teach, you know, it's a tool. It's a tool that we're going to treat with respect. Just like when you get in your car, you put your seatbelt on. It's a safety thing. Same thing with the gun. If you treat it right, you know, like the way you're taught, and it's not a toy. It's just a tool, and you can be very successful with it. People get college scholarships by going on shooting teams. They go to the Olympics. I mean, if you're a young lady and you want a college scholarship, learn to shoot a gun. You know, there's trap teams looking for girls all the time. Then you can be a Division I athlete, travel the country. because you can pull your finger. I mean, that's the
Well,
craziest
it's a lot
thing.
more than that.
Well, a little bit,
Just a
but-
little bit.
But I mean, once you figure it out, I mean, there's some. And plus, when you teach a girl how to shoot, I'm getting on a tangent. Shocking.
I know
You're
this.
good.
But whenever I would teach girls to shoot, always better than the boys
Really?
because they would listen. Boys already had the
I know
Nerf
how to
guns.
do that.
Yeah.
Yes, I
I
know
got the
what I'm
Nerf
doing.
guns.
Yep.
I've got the BB guns. You know, I've had my slingshots. I've been doing this. I go with my dad. You know, I shot a big buck last year. Girls come, they listen to you, and they do it. And I mean,
Yeah.
and then it's just you put them in competitions, and they do great. You know, knock it out the very end, and it's just all girls. So kudos to the girls.
Yep. There
That's
you go.
excellent. As far as specifically wild turkey hunting, what are some of the big challenges still facing turkey hunters and our turkey population in the U.S. right now?
Well, one of the big things that we're seeing is we're reintroducing birds all the time that we can, different parts of the country and stuff like that. But in the States, the biggest thing I think is the generation. It's harder to get access. More and more access is getting denied, and that's one thing that NWTF is doing in the West is we're contributing in Wyoming to the Access Yes program, right? So NWTF helps with that, and what that does, it's a program through the state that allows the division to send money to ranchers to secure. It's kind of like your walk-in program here in Kansas.
Okay.
So it's Access Yes, but it's in Wyoming and Colorado as well. Is we're a big part of that, getting access for people. Because when they have the access, then they can go out. Because there's nothing worse than going out and you can't get access here. But the biggest thing too is knock on doors. It still works. You'd be surprised how many times you just go up and you knock on a door, but don't do it the day of the hunt, right? You
Right.
Go
That's not
out,
gonna
go out
happen.
ahead of time,
Yep.
and especially if you have a youth hunter with you, you go out and you just be yourself, be real in front of the farmer, and say, "This is what we're looking for. We're looking for an experience to get out and either yourself or a child or whoever it might be, your spouse or something." And a lot of people, you got to respect their land, right? That's the biggest thing. Close a gate behind you, whatever it is, but respect that land. And a lot of them will still let you on, but access is a big key.
That's a skill that's being lost.
Yes, it is.
Being able
Communication,
to go
go face to face. You know, everybody wants to
Mm-hmm.
text or whatever. Oh, I got to go talk to somebody. Oh my God, this is going to be scary. You know, they're farmers are just people,
Sure.
and they're really nice people.
Yeah.
You know, they're out there. They see it, and he said it right. Respect.
Yep.
I mean, if you go up there and you respect their land, you shut their gates, their cows may be out or whatever, or you help them. Man, if you would come for harvest and help for a week, drive a grain cart or something, and then farmers would love you.
Sure.
Because they're always looking for help.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, being a farmer nowadays, I mean, that's a major job.
It's hard.
If you're able to help them out anyway, help them.
And it's the biggest thing. It's that relationship. It's more than once a year. You don't want to show up every hunting season just for hunting season, right? And if you go on a fishing trip or something like that, like I was able to go up to Alaska and do some fishing. When I came back, I offered it to our ranchers. Hey, you want some halibut? You want some fresh salmon? Man, they were just tickled, right? So you're just sharing, but it's that relationship you're building. And then, they're going to talk to other ranchers and they'll be like, hey, you know what? And then next thing you know, you knock on their door. They're like, oh yeah, I know the relationship you have. So it's the biggest thing is just stay in communication and help them. Offer. When you help others, they'll be more willing to help you.
That's awesome.
And they definitely like booze too. I mean, you give them.
It's not gonna hurt.
I've bought 30 packs. I've bought bottles of Crown. I've done it all. So just get out there and try and do it again. And if you get denied, go to the next one. Go to the next one.
Yep.
Just keep going. Also, our walk-in hunting program in Kansas is a really good program. I mean, you'd be surprised about how much walk-in hunting there is.
Yep.
Now, you got to get out of major city areas. If you have a high populated area with one walk-in hunting spot, obviously know that it's going to get pounded opening weekend. It's probably not going to be any good. But if you're willing to travel a couple hours or an hour, get there, put in the time, even pre-scout it, and know you can get to Western Kansas and find a lot of good ground.
Sure.
I mean, we got the maps. The State Department's got it on the app, so you can do it right on your phone.
Yeah, we're right in that sweet spot. A little bit north of us, they get a little sparse. A little bit south of us, they get kind of small.
Yeah.
But we're right in that sweet spot. I mean, we do have some great deer hunting in Kansas.
Oh, yeah, phenomenal. I mean, that's what we're known for. I mean, turkeys are good. So we did have a change in regulations. So it went from a 2 limit to 1, except if you're in the north central, you were able to get it a second turkey permit. They do some funky words. Like first was your permit, the second was your tag or something. But so it's down to 1, and everybody's like, well, why is this happening? Well, we can do all this work. We could do 50 years of work. It takes Mother Nature 15 seconds just to ruin it all for us.
Turn it all
Fire, hail, rainstorms, flooding. I mean, we got floods like crazy in Wellington, and they were how come there's no quail? How come the pheasant population is down? Well, we didn't have a hatch. You know,
Flood it
there
all
was
out.
no, I mean,
Yep.
all the birds that were along the creeks and the rivers, gone. You know, the only birds that survived were the ones that were on high ground. You know, and all the chicks couldn't get away.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're getting a bounce back. But
And that takes a while.
it takes a long time.
They're not going to be back in next year, probably not the next. It's
Yeah.
going to.
Nope,
It's gonna take a couple
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It's gonna take
a
a
few
couple-
years to rebound.
Yeah, and habitat, and that's what we always tell people.
Yep.
You know, if you have the good habitat, they're going to bounce back quicker. They got to have a home. You know, I tell people, you know, we can't put a pheasant or a turkey on concrete and expect for it to survive. You know, they just got to be covered up because they got so many predators. I mean, you got the, you know, you got the hawks, you got skunks, you got possums, you got the raiding eggs. You know, there's a lot going on. You got coyotes, bobcats. Everything from day one is against those birds.
Sure.
You know, so they're working to survive. They're working, you know, and we're helping them. You know, but they got to have habitat so they can cover up and hide, and they can eat the bugs. You know, it's a whole process, and people don't understand.
And that's
Sometimes.
our
Some
10-year
people do.
initiative
Yeah.
is save the habitat, save the hunt. And that's what we're working on, right? So we're raising money, and then that's where our biologists, our foresters and stuff, we're putting that money back on the ground. And that's what we're working on, is save that habitat, and then we'll save the hunt.
So you said volunteers earlier. Are you talking?
Oh, yeah.
You're not talking about members of the.
No, we're
NWTF?
talking about members of NWTF,
Okay.
and we're over 250,000 members, but it's nationwide. But it's the members and their friends, right? There's people, when you have a member and you reach out to a friend, it's like, yeah, I'll join you. The next thing you know, now we get another member, right? Or they bring a youth with them or a family and stuff like that. But it's truly about the volunteers that
So
really.
what's some of the stuff that they would volunteer to go do? Is it brush clearing? Is it what is
Like,
it?
yeah, so it could be picking up trash. So I've seen where chapters pick up the highway.
Okay.
You know, they got their little mile section. They're going to pick up. They know somebody needs some help burning to get rid of the cedars. You know, so they go out and help do that. They go and plant the trees. There's so many different things that volunteers can do. You know, they go and help the Jake's Day. They go into schools and talk.
Okay.
There's so many things that the volunteers do. It's not just about going and putting on a banquet, which that's a big deal too.
Sure.
Because we can't move without, you know,
Need the money.
getting something. Yep. We've got to make a move. But our volunteers do so much more than just show up one Saturday night and throw a party. You know, and that our chapters don't shut down. You know, they're still talking. They're figuring out. They're working on their youth hunts. They're working on their mentor hunts. There's so much more. And once you get involved in the chapter, you just see how much stuff and how nice people really are. It's crazy to think how a chapter brings every different type of person together. You know, you look at one local chapter, you have the local police officer, you have the school principal, you have a lawyer, you have the gas station that owns it, you know, you have the insurance guy. It brings everybody together. Same common goal. We're on the same team. You know, we all root for the Chiefs or, you know, K-State or KU or for whatever.
Steelers.
Or a good team.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I don't know about Steelers.
Oh, yeah, I know about Steelers.
I think that would be fighting words right now in Kansas. I think you're going to get run out of here faster than whatnot.
Oh, they've tried before and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, I don't know. So that was him who says Steelers?
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't me.
Loud and proud.
Yeah.
So somebody wants to get involved, getting in touch with their local chapter, best way to do that. Okay. And so would that just be go to nwtf.org?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So everything's listed. It's usually kept pretty good track. You can get the local chapter president's name and then also some other committee members or contact the
Contact us. Yeah, the regional directors.
So
Yep.
I'm the regional director for Kansas. So I cover all of Kansas. Bruce has got a couple more miles than I do.
Colorado and Nebraska now. So
Yep. So basically, regional directors is a good contact, or our biologist. So our conservation
Get you
people.
to that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're right there involved, and they know what chapters or if you want to get involved, attend one of their banquets. You know, if and say when you're there, hey, next year or your next meeting, can I go? They're always looking to expand. You know, people need help. It can't be a one-person committee. So if you want to get involved, if you want to start hunting more, get involved with the chapter because they're always planning hunts together.
Good way to do it.
So, it's great networking. You know, you might not have a duck hole, but you join a chapter. Well, this, you know, NWTF Turkey president, he's got, you know, a lease on a watershed, you know, or his uncle. It's a great way to open up other doors too.
Yeah.
But we're also on social media. You know, search NWTF. You can search NWTF, the state, whatever state, you know, Kansas or Colorado or whatever state you're in. Or you can, look us up on the national social media as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Local chapters have it too. So if you do find a local chapter, you can get on their social media.
And when this goes out, obviously on the YouTube video,
Yep.
which is where we get a lot of our views on the podcast, and video podcasting is bigger than podcasting now.
Oh, yeah.
We'll put links to everything.
Okay.
Make sure that
That's
everybody
awesome.
Yeah, I
Thank
mean,
you for that.
Yeah, and we got a lot of things going. I mean, there's, I don't know if we want to get in that big old thing, but we got a pile of, projects.
Go.
So I'm giving away a truck.
Okay.
So that's it's 2020.
That's a big one.
Oh yeah. So a guy, local dealership down in there in Wellington with Raper Ford. So worked it out. I'm giving away a truck. Bruce has like the Rolls Royce of hunt auctions going on.
Yeah.
We got online auctions. So just because our banquets somewhat went to a halt, our in-person stuff, if you look at your local state's Facebook page or the national page, we got so many great things going. I mean, we almost have it to where we have too many good things going on. I mean, this is a perfect time to sit on your phone and still be part of NWTF. I mean, you can bid on guns, you can bid on trips, you can bid on adventures. I mean, it is a great time. I got online auction for a banquet.
Yeah.
What else we got?
So pretty much everything you can imagine we have at our banquets, we have online right now. So we have the Grand National Big Hunt online auction coming up. We've got all kind of local raffles going. What we got? Chillin', Grillin', and Killin' Time raffle, right?
Yeah.
So
Oklahoma. Yeah, Jared down there. Yeah, that's a good
so
one.
it's like you get $10 for a raffle ticket, $20 for a raffle ticket, but it's really depending what you want.
Right.
And it's go ahead.
Talk to us about the New Zealand portion of that hunt.
Oh, wow. So on the Grand National online hunt auction starting August 5th.
There you go.
What we do is we're giving away a New Zealand experience, and it's for bid, online bidding. And what that will be is it'll be 5 days in New Zealand. Goes up to a red stag up to 370 inches, but they're also throwing in a chamois in it as well.
Okay.
So you can change to a tar if you want. You just negotiate with the outfitter there. But I've got Alaska grizzly bear hunt. I've got, and these are hunts that, I've been blessed to have the opportunity to go to New Zealand and hunt a red stag before. And I've been up to Alaska and some of the stuff. So what we're trying to do, we got a Sitka blacktail hunt, southeastern Alaska, black bear hunt there, Sitka blacktail, sorry. But it's just, we're trying to find different experiences for people. It's not just all about turkey, but that money is used to increase habitat. And that habitat helps all animals, not just the wild turkey. Helps the quail, the pheasant, the deer, elk, depending where we're at in the country. So, but we're just trying to offer different experiences for different people. And
all right. So now talking about actually getting out there and turkey hunting. First of all, how often do you get out there?
how many days are in a season?
Yeah. The answer you want my wife to know, my boss to know, or actually what the truth is.
They're not going to watch this.
yeah.
The truth.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to go for? I'd lie. I mean, I go. I probably sit in a tree. I mean, I'm very fortunate because my son will go with me, so I'm taking care of one of the kids at least. And Charlie, my daughter, she comes with me a lot. If I go to a blind, I'll sit in a tree stand for 60 plus times probably. I tell people don't become a deer hunter like me. I'm very picky. I'll find one particular one and just wait and watch and take pictures of other ones. And people are like, "You are crazy," and I am.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just.
You met London earlier. She's our social media person.
Mm-hmm.
She knows somebody who has the trail cams of all trail cams. They're everywhere.
The ones that send you to your phone and everything?
Tons. Yeah. So we look at those, and there are specific ones. They crawl up through fields to look at them, glass them. Not on them yet. Mm-hmm. Just like,
and you say this like there's a problem.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
No. Completely normal.
Not
people.
saying it's
so. Stealth Cam is one of my favorite cameras, and we run about 40 of them. And it's the 4K ones are made. They take video, they take still photos, they're infrared, and it's really cut down on our trigger. When I first started having cameras out, I'd go back and it'd be like 9,000 photos to view, and it's the wind blowing and stuff like that. But man, the Stealth Cam ones are really the technology is really done well. So
it's nuts.
And like I say, so it's and for us, it's not only the turkey. So we carry them around during turkey season, and we're scouting with them in turkey season. So we'll get a snow comes through, stuff like that. We got an area where we know where they roost and stuff, but it's so we're scouting with them with technology is crazy. So for us, we don't have cellular cameras because the mountains in Colorado where we hunt, we don't get cell service. So I've tried several ones, and it's just unless you're on a ridge top, but never seems to be where the turkeys are. So
oddly enough.
But yeah, no, it's 365. I mean, whether it's turkey hunting or shed hunting, and that's the biggest thing. When you're turkey hunting, you're shed hunting. And, we've got a great area where we're at where the elk migrate and the deer migrate down, but we know their winter patterns. And so while we're turkey hunting, we're shed hunting, and we're seeing what bulls made it through and what deer made it through. And then you're scouting for next season, and we collect them and name them. And then when they start growing, you can tell the ones with the odd tines and points. But the turkeys too, we got ones you can see the spurs, the length of the spurs, the beards, the double beards, and
the feathers that are messed up. I mean,
tail feathers missing out of the back. So we really kind of, it's taking it to a new level now. Compared to when we grew up.
I mean,
it is. It really is.
It's worse than drugs. It's worse than everything.
Well, it's better than.
It is better than drugs. Yeah,
how much money and time?
I've seen people on drugs.
I don't know if my wife would agree with all that. And sometimes my parents are like, "You're doing what? When?
I think you're insane."
Yeah, You're going how far? I mean, I've driven 12 hours just knowing that I could only hunt for 6, or even for 2. You get the right wind and you go up here. I had a buddy in Nebraska. I'd burn up to his place. I chased antelope and deer with him. And I mean, you went to New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
You've been to Alaska. I've been to Alaska. Yeah. I mean, it's a lifestyle.
The fact we talked about this last week with Kurt from BHA, but the fact that we have antelope here in the States, it just always shocks me. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. We do have those.
On the western side,
elk.
Never think of it.
Yeah.
Well, elk's kind of a standard, not a standard American, but it's a well-known American.
Yeah.
Antelopes are just like, that's an African animal in my, I'm always like,
no, come out to Wyoming.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
They're like a pet. Yeah. No, literally they are all over the place. So Eastern Colorado has them as well, and Nebraska and Kansas.
I shot mine in Nebraska with the bow.
Yeah.
And
that's one too.
Yep. Kurt was saying, the guy from last week was saying, if you're getting into hunting and you're looking for an entry into big game, antelope is the way.
It's a great youth hunt as well. So it's something you can go out, go down the road, spot and stalk. If you blow the stalk, you get in a car or vehicle, drive down the road, get out, spot and stalk again.
Yep. Do it again.
There's a lot of them.
Several hunts.
Until you get to a level, and there's several levels in hunting, but until you get to that trophy level where then you get a lot pickier. And that's where you start doing the research, what units, draw odds, trophy quality and stuff like that.
So to get to the next question I'm going to ask, I'm going to have to tell
could be scary.
A quick story.
Sure.
When I went down to Texas after college, I went dove hunting and turkey hunting a few times. It was always on either the same guy or his neighbor's land. So we drove out one time, and I've told this story. I'll tell it real quick. Going dove hunting. We're walking, pulls. I shoot, nobody else shoots. And I'm looking around, I'm like, why? All of a sudden in the background here, ting, 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 his truck was in the background. So I shot. So anyways. So same guy's land. It was the first or second time we'd gone turkey hunting. It's early in the morning. Mm-hmm. And he just starts making owl calls. I'm like, what is this guy doing? I'm like, we're not out here, trying to interact. Well, we're trying to get, it's going to scare him away. They're like, no, that's what you do. I'm like, really? Yeah. Yep. So owl calls.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I just
always
get the little shot.
Yeah, get the shot gobble coming. Yeah.
Either one of you guys do it.
Oh, yeah.
Without a... Go ahead.
Oh no, not without.
No.
I'm not going to do it on this. Absolutely not.
Come on.
Because no way.
You've had a beer.
Yeah. You know how much backlash we would get from the guys that actually can do it really good. I mean, at conventions.
Fair enough.
I mean, those guys.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Those guys at
turkey calling contest.
Convention, you just put all your calls away and you don't even.
Don't even play.
That's a whole other lifestyle.
They'll embarrass you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they'll do a whole skit. So.
Yeah. The other crazy thing down there, we went squirrel hunting one time, and I've told them before. But when you're squirrel hunting, don't think of your neighborhood squirrels, because these aren't them. These are forest squirrels, and they know what you're there for.
Oh yeah,
they will. They'll spend 20 minutes runing around a tree from you on the other side.
And they go up.
He would take he'd take a quarter and a nickel and just, and they'd come like unbelievable. Can't believe it.
Yeah.
But do you like? Are you guys slate? Are you box calls, mouth calls? What do you like?
I like them all. Okay, because it's good variety, especially when you're hunting.
Different pitches in different areas and whatnot. Be loud, be soft. A lot with my mouth. If they're close, I like to have it in my just so I don't got movement and everything. And but anything that works. My son does it a lot now. So he's 9. Spoiled. His first turkey was a double bearded turkey at 5. Was not the plan at all. So anybody wants to roast me about it, yeah, I screwed up. I mean, I walked out there. I'm like, oh, it's double bearded. You know what? I'm hoping for a Jake. You know, all of a sudden they just come strolling up and bada bing. And so now he's spoiled. But he calls now. So he calls with the box calls and everything. And he's learning with the mouth call. Okay. So I just kind of let him do it. I mean, of course, we're going to screw up a lot, and it's just part of. But
it's part of it. And when he's engaged, when you can keep them engaged, that's what keeps them coming back. Instead of them just sitting if they're in the blind or something like that, and they're playing on their phone.
Just wait for you to
just have them practice. Have them, hey, what'd you see over here? And some of the best things, hunting definitely is not about the killing part of it. It is truly about the experience you have in the outdoors. There's so much stuff you'll see while you're out hunting. Just this last week, I was out fishing and I saw a double rainbow where I actually saw the end of the rainbow. And I've been in the woods a lot all my life, and it's the first time I've ever been that close to a rainbow.
Where it came down?
Where it came down. And I'll show you a picture afterwards here. I mean, it was truly amazing. And here I am, and all these years, and I've never seen it. It wasn't about the hunting or the killing part of it. It's truly about the experiences, the sunrises, the woods coming alive, the turkeys gobbling, the owls, and just everything. It's really, there's so much.
Yeah, I got a cool nature story. One time we were elk hunting in New Mexico, and we're at camp at 10,000 feet. The thunderstorm was below us. Thunder and everything was rolling. Awesome. I mean, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was there with my dad and my uncle and one of his really good buddies. And I mean, it woke us all up, and we're all like, that's amazing. You don't get to do that in town. No. You don't. I mean,
you don't see the northern lights in town.
You see so much more out there, and everybody, the people that are not pro hunting, they think it's just about us going out and slaughtering something and doing all this, and no.
So I've learned to ignore those people and just basically cut them out.
Yep.
Yeah. Like you're not going to change them. You're just ignore them, move on, and talk to the people who just don't know. If they have a preconceived notion and it's that level of negative where they think you're a bloodthirsty, whatever, just like, don't need to talk to you
just
anymore.
Just let them be. Don't even.
You're not going to help them.
Yeah. And don't even comment on their stuff on Facebook. That's what I tell everybody. I was like, you're just showing them likes. No. Like when we get these Facebook battles between certain people, I'm just like, if you don't agree with them, but when you post up on there, you're bringing their stuff higher and higher. More people are saying, don't. Yep. If they're going to bag on hunting, just let them be.
Yep.
That 30-day snooze right now is one of the best inventions that Facebook ever did.
Oh, yeah.
I
don't do anything with
besides turning the phone off completely.
Yes, that will work better.
London, you'll have to show me that later.
Yeah, there you go.
Any engagement with that is counterproductive. Yes. It really is. Because you're giving them some sort of weird reward system in their brain where they're like, oh, now I have someone to fight against.
Yep. Exactly.
It just makes no sense. Nope. All right. So first, with your 4K cameras, how many pictures of Bigfoot have you deleted? Because obviously, there must have been a few.
I can't tell you. It's confidential. I can't tell you locations. The TV show would be out, and it'd be.
That makes sense.
So, it's secure. I'll share with you when we're off the air, and I'll show you.
Do they compensate you for that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, but how crazy is that we now have trail cams that if they can get signal, 4K.
Oh, I know. It is crazy.
It's insane.
And that's why, so the cellular ones are illegal in Colorado for hunting.
Okay. Are they considering it non-fair chase?
Yes. And
I would too.
So technology. So if you're sitting there, it's like, oh, there's that camera. I'm going to go there. Right. So, but it's crazy in the off season and stuff like that. But even the other cameras, you catch so much. You will catch mountain lions and bears and elk and deer and trespassers, which is really, we catch a lot of trespassers. Yeah. Oh. So, but we'll just turn them in. And
are they poachers or what are they doing?
Well, some are. Yep. Some are poachers. Some are people
stuff.
Yeah,
making
just
stuff
making stuff they shouldn't be making.
Yeah.
You get.
It is Colorado. So
I mean, you get down on some of these creek beds or river beds. I mean, people think, oh, no one's going to be down in here. We'll cook our stuff. I mean, hunters find lots of stuff. I mean, we find a lot of things out there that.
Well, beyond specifically with that one, for anyone who doesn't think that specific speed, crank, whatever you want to call it, is a problem, listen to the podcast Joe Rogan did like 2 years ago with a parks and rec guy, something like that. And he talked about the absolute devastation that does downstream.
Oh yeah.
Because it goes into the creeks and it kills everything.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
Everything's got to go down.
Yeah.
You put it in there, it's not going away.
It's not going away. Nope. Just because the water takes it away doesn't mean that it's gone.
Yep.
It is killing everything downstream. It's absolutely ridiculous. But so Colorado has now finally, I think, admitted that there are grizzly bears back in there. Are they still fighting
I heard,
that?
no, we've got wolves in there now, but the furthest south I heard a grizzly bear was just north of the border, north of I-80 and the western side of Wyoming.
So there's a guy who's
coming down. So I don't know.
There's a guy who's fighting with, it's not DNR in
Division of Wildlife.
Okay, Division of Wildlife. Mm-hmm. He was fighting with them saying, I recorded this in Colorado. And they're just, nope, no, you didn't. And it was a grizzly bear.
Well, and it could be, right? Yeah. And I believe that if they're north of I-80, then they're in Colorado.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're going to travel.
They're going to move it.
They're going to move. Now, does Division...
Not grizzly, but black bear.
Oh, yeah.
Just a while back.
Yeah. So I don't know if the Division wants that information out. Kind of like the wolf several years ago up in an area by a steamboat. There was a rancher that had pictures of a wolf, and Division said no.
No, it's not a wolf.
And he's like, no, exactly. It's like, no, that's a wolf, right? No. But now it's, it's like, oh no, we have wolves, and so it just takes time.
Yeah, and just takes extra preparation. Do you think about that when you go out on long hunts?
No, I personally don't. Although I've been charged by a grizzly up in Alaska, so stopped about 10 feet from me. So.
Expand, please.
Yeah, I was like, Bruce,
I'm not hearing this story
on me.
No, it was a situation. We went up bow hunting. We were going to float a river for 76 miles. I mean, Alaska, if you ever get a chance, go to Alaska. Mm-hmm. There's stories, and you can't make it up.
I think I finally have my wife understanding why we need to go. It's
seriously.
been 10 years I've been trying to convince her.
Yes.
It's awesome. I think she's on board.
Every year is an adventure, and I think what drives it more is it's like I survived that. What's next? And it keeps kind of like adrenaline junkie, right?
Yeah.
When you survive it, you want to keep going. And but this one here, we were bow hunting, flew into a river. And dropped us off. When they dropped us off, it was in the dark, so we never got to fly the river to see where we got out. And but he's like, just stay in that shed. We get over there, the door's ripped off, claw marks everywhere, no windows. We're like, no. So we didn't sleep much the first night, And so we get out, and I'm fascinated by grizzly bears. Love reading about them. Brown bears too. It's been my favorite animal ever since I was a kid. So always wanted to see one close. And so we're hiking, we're bow hunting. I had one rifle over my back for bear protection, and get over a knoll, and we're like, oh, grizz, and we're looking. We're like, man, they're awful small. And then you didn't even click, right? And we're like, oh no, those are cubs,
Mama.
So sure enough, as soon as we said that, they were off to our right, and Mama stands up to our left. And I'll never forget, she stood up, her paws were straight down, and she kind of rocked her head and those little bitty eyes. And I'm like, uh-oh. And here she comes. Snow was flying. And so, yeah, luckily there was 3 of us, and the cubs ran behind her. We were like in a triangle. Cubs ran behind her. So, and just probably because there was 3, but she had us if she wanted us. I couldn't get the rifle off in time. Had black scope caps. So if you go into Alaska, do not have black scope caps, have clear ones. I'll tell you that, I learned that in the lesson. But because when I came up, I had a shell in the chamber, but it was all black. So, but she turned and spun. But
what did you think, 10 feet?
10 feet.
So this is 9 feet.
Yeah.
So
that was
a foot beyond that.
Yeah.
So she false charged you. Were you maybe not lucky that there were cubs there, but at least with the cubs, she just wants you away.
I think it was just protection. She wasn't going to eat us or anything, but I think just protecting her young, just like we would as parents. But I think there was 3 of us. I think the size, and then with the cubs running behind her, I figured that's what I think. But anyway, so she took off, and then spooked one guy really well. He never left camp the whole rest of the hunt. But so we tried to find him. We wanted to get pictures of him. So we went after him.
Hey, let's go. They almost killed me once. Let's go again.
So, okay, I didn't say I was the smartest one.
I didn't say that either.
But we couldn't find them, and they're in the tundra, just rolling hills, and we could not. So then you start looking behind you.
Yeah. The brush.
All right. Yes.
That brush is crazy.
That's what the people who get out of the cage and dive with the great white sharks, that's basically what you did. It's basically what you did. Yeah.
But it just pushes you to the next level.
Yeah.
So, I had another trip up there where I shot a moose, and come back, the pilot came to pick that moose up, and my cape's missing out of all of our game bags and everything. Well, the bear come in and took my cape, and this was a trophy. So I'm like, no, I'm getting my cape. So we went into the alders after it. And
Did you get it?
oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So when it's raining, we're crawling. The pilot's like, "You guys are crazy." So we're crawling back in there, and so I was with a buddy of mine, and we located the game bag and pulled it out of the game bag, and you can see where it drug it. And so finally found it. He's like, "I'll help you carry it." And it weighed 101 pounds. I know that for another story I can tell you, but it just. So I'm like, "No, I'll carry it. You protect us." So we get out to the bank, and of course, what do? I set the rifle down that I had to get in the water, because you got to get in the water to get to the float plane. So he sets his down to help me. So I'm in the water. I get on the float plane. I turn around. The bear's right behind him.
Oh,
Yeah, coming back to get what the.
So luckily it was a black bear. And so he dove, did a somersault, grabbed his rifle, and he had a bear tag. So he ended up shooting it. And the pilot's like, "You guys are nuts. I'm out of here." So I'm telling you, Alaska is it's a whole but it's an adventure. Every time there's stories every time. So yeah, definitely if you guys ever get a chance, or ladies too, get to Alaska, and the greatest people up there.
My uncle was a fire marshal up there in Alaska.
okay.
So I went up there, and he's telling me all these stories, because they would have to take the helicopters to go in and find hunters that didn't come back. And he would talk about they'd see the grizzly bear laying on the pile, which the hunter was inside, and he's like, we'd bring the helicopter down, and then 3 guys would jump out. 2 guys are digging for the body, the other one's holding the gun. He's like, the helicopter was keeping the bear just far enough away, it'd be snap. He said, like, they'd just be mad at all get out, because we're taking their meal away. They would load it in the body bag they'd get, and they said that grizzly bear would run up all the time, and my great uncle Rocky, bless his soul. But I'm like, we're in Alaska right now. Like, we're packing, we're going in. Like, I don't need this right now. He's telling me all these horrible stories, rocks falling on people, this or that. I'm like, I know, I'm here. I'm trying to do that. I don't want to be a statistic right now. We got lots of stories. Sorry.
So in Alaska,
Yes.
is grizzly bear? That's your main fear?
Brown bear.
Bear.
No fear.
No fear of either one of those?
No.
What do you-
Respect. I definitely
Okay.
have a ton of respect. But no,
Caution.
I think being charged by that one and not,
Yeah.
I don't think they're out to get you just
They're
to
not.
kill you,
They're
right? Just to
definitely
eat
not.
you.
Yeah.
So I think, but I have respect, but I wouldn't say I have fear of them.
Unless they're
So.
sick or old. I mean, there's definitely situations
Oh, sure.
where they
without a
prey
doubt.
on
No,
people.
I'm definitely, out of respect comes being prepared, right? So we were on a gravel bar one night sleeping, and you can hear one walking down the rocks. And one of the guys gets up. I'm like, "What are you doing? All you're going to do is invite it in, right? It's like, leave it alone. If it's walking, let it go." And he thought he had a 44 mag and he was good. I'm like, "No, that's just," and it's the middle of the night. I'm like, "No, just," so you have to have respect for
Sure.
him. Yeah, no, you got to be
Claws are,
prepared,
like,
right?
Have
So-
you ever seen grizzly bear
Yep.
claw? Oh, I mean, just
Right.
I can just hear
So-
walking on them rocks.
Yeah, you
I
did the
just
Oh,
know.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So it's just one of those things but it's respect.
Yep.
So yeah.
Absolutely frightening though, just to think of. Talking about, all right, back to turkey hunting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Back to turkey
Yeah, it's
hunting.
all the same.
No, no,
It's all
it's
the
all
same.
Turkey Federation. Let's tell grizzly.
It is all the same.
It is all the same.
What's your favorite gun for turkey hunting?
So for me, it's the CZ Reaper by far, and
You thieving son of a gun.
that gun.
It's going to be the same answer.
I assume what.
Yes, it's going to be the exact same
Okay.
answer.
And and the biggest thing for me is, I mean, the gun is phenomenal, but it's truly it's just like you guys in your company. The people with CZ, the management team there are so passionate, and they're the ones, and their shooting team use those guns all the time. And when they see something, it's like, man, you know how if you ever go out and you shoot or something like that, and you see something about a gun, you're like, man, I wish it had just this. I like it, but it needs this, or I like it. And I see that with the passion with you guys as well, right? When you're working on something, it's like, man, if we could just twerk this or adjust this or whatever it is. And that's what they're doing all the time. So they're like, and I think with the Reaper by
Yeah.
far, and especially with clients, you got to have something that's performing.
Mhm.
And you can have the 2 different barrels with the chokes. And
It's an over and under.
it's an over and under. So goes up to 3.5 inch, but it's that CZ USA management team is really squared away, and all of their guns, the 10-12, and I mean I could go on forever, but I'll let
They got a
Brandon-
good company up in Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay.
So it's on
Yep.
the Kansas
Yep.
side. So I mean, I started working with them a long time ago. Daniel and Dave Miller, they broke a record. How many?
Yeah,
10,000 in some clays in 12 hours or something.
They
That's
got
not even right. That's not
youth,
even right.
Youth shooters,
Yeah, they picked the
got-
5 top
Wow.
shooters across,
youth shooters across the country,
and then
and they
Dave.
set a world record with Dave.
Yeah, it was
It was
awesome.
amazing, and so like I say, it's the gun, but it's also the company, the passion behind it, and the
Yep.
quality of the people and the products that they have. They stand behind them, and by far. I mean, there's all kind of, and Hoyt too. I shoot a bow a lot, and so the archery thing is big to myself. But for clients coming in and stuff, I carry one in camp for that.
So what do you like to hunt when you're bow hunting? What do you like to go for? Elk? I mean, I know you're.
Oh, all of it. Yeah. But the elk, there's nothing like the bugle in September when they're rutting and they're screaming and I've had clients miss them at 5 yards with a bow. But when you get that excitement, when someone's that excited,
yeah,
that's what it's about, right? It's really, but yeah, so there's nothing better than bugling a big bull in or watching them wallow or chase cows and fighting and all that. But then again, whitetail's the same with the rut, but it's
kind of what's in season for me, He's right. The bugle of an elk is just gnarlier than just the way they scream and you can hear them coming through. I mean, it's just nuts.
Sounds like something from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't sound
like how does that even work? Yeah. And they got the iris. I mean, it's just crazy.
It's two sounds going at once, apparently.
It's no, the bugle and like I say, they're chuckling and stuff. And if you ever get a chance, even if you're a non-hunter, get up to Yellowstone or Rocky Mountain National Park or something in Colorado in September and just watch it. They're all over Estes there. And it's amazing. But just when you're looking at a 600-700 pound animal and they're screaming and they're coming right in, it's a rush. So like I say, the shooting part is so minuscule and to the whole thing. It's just really, there's so much yeah. But bears too, bears is a whole different one. I had them climb my tree stand. You got to smack them in the nose with your arrow, stuff like that. I mean, there's all kind of stories that. Did
you see the video of there are guys in the tree stand? One's on one side, the other one's above him. And filming. The black bear came up and he's just literally doing a selfie. And the black bear's like, what is that?
Yeah.
And eventually goes back down. Like, even though, it's just a black bear.
No, it's respect. You got to have respect for him. You got to be careful, but it's fun. Like I say, there's stories.
It's an adventure.
It's what life's about.
I've always had it. Well, not always. The Edge, the movie The Edge.
Oh, yeah.
Obsessed with grizzlies since then.
Yep.
And it probably even started earlier with the movie The Bear.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Just I mean, they're an amazing animal. They're an American icon. They are just great thing. And I know it's not great for ranchers.
No.
But, I mean, they are coming back.
Yep.
There's a comeback.
Yep, just like the turkey.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Just like the turkey.
Just like the turkey. Just like the dinosaur feet of a turkey.
Now, I will say this: in upstate New York, my mom backs up to some property, and there's a housing development back there, and those people won't let their kids go out and play at certain times of the year because the wild turkeys have gone so crazy up there. They'll chase them.
Oh, the post office. They'll chase. You see the videos all the time. I mean, they're just a turkey can get a little rambunctious too. It likes to fly, and I mean, it's got the hooks. I mean, the way they fight each other and stuff. So,
but it is, and then turkey calling too is some people say just like elk hunting. It's not just like it, but it is calling in an animal and stuff like that. And in the spring, it is a lot of fun. If you get them, it is a challenge.
It's a challenge to get the tom to come over.
So there is a lot of excitement there in the spring when the elk aren't bugling and stuff. So I think that's where my passion from turkey hunting comes is from the big game stuff. But just when you can get it in the spring and they're gobbling, man, it's a show. And that they're fanned out and strutting and I mean it's really. But when they're gobbling and like I say, there's so many stories, but it's good times. So get out in the woods, man, explore, have fun, get family out there, friends.
Yeah. So. And what you said with Estes, even if you don't like to hunt,
that part.
Get out there.
Yeah, that part is unreal.
Exactly.
I mean,
go up to Sky Pond. It's a couple of hours. You'll never see anything like it. No. I mean, it's amazing. My wife and I have recently in the last 2 years, we've gone Estes, Zion, Bryce, and South Rim.
Okay.
So the only thing we didn't do that we wanted to do is South Rim. We wanted to hike down and back, but weird stuff happened and we got a real late start in the day. But yeah, our national parks are
phenomenal.
Absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
And I feel like there's not enough Americans who appreciate that. And I don't even necessarily mean from how beautiful it is. I mean, from the fact we have access to it.
Yes. It's not owned up. Going back to Alaska, you look at Alaska, it's 99%, I'm making up numbers, but it's like 90% public, and then you turn it around in Kansas, it's 1% public. Yeah, so, nothing. But I mean, to each their own and every state's different, but you're right. The national parks I mean, they're absolute gems.
Yep.
I mean, and we should appreciate, I mean, and people that take care of them. I mean,
Yep.
you get the forest rangers in there, you get the, I mean, those people, like the people that we have working on our Kansas public lands, those habitat specialists and whatnot, I mean, they work their tails off. I mean, if it's flooding, they're in there fixing it. They're planting duff fields. I mean, they're cutting trees. They're doing burns. I mean, they work hard so somebody else can go hunt on the ground.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it's crazy.
That's-
And those men and women, I mean, I've worked with lots of them, and they just amaze me.
Yep.
You know, it's just it's awesome.
Selfless. They're
Yes.
very selfless. Very
Exactly.
selfless.
They know that somebody else is going to probably harvest that big deer that they see almost daily.
Yep.
Like somebody's going to come in here, put up their tree stand, and they're going to get. But you know, without them, we don't have anything. I mean,
Absolutely, we don't. All right, closing out real quick. One tip for everybody on turkey hunting.
Biggest tip is just get out and do your pre-scouting. Spend the time ahead of the season so you can locate them. Because the biggest thing when people get out there, they can't locate them. There's like, oh, there's no turkeys, right? But so
Yep.
pre-season scouting and learn how to call.
So put your work in. You
I agree with the scouting. That's really good. But also just keep going.
can't keep stealing his
Yeah, I know.
answers.
But he's
It happens all the time.
yeah. No, whatever, please. So you're gonna fail. Accept it. You're gonna
Okay.
fail. You're gonna
That's a
fail.
good
You're gonna
one.
fail. You're gonna fail. And then it could be bad, and then all of a sudden it clicks, and it's the greatest hunt that's ever happened. I mean, it could be 5 miserable days of rain and whatnot, but finally that turkey comes in, and life is great again. You know, it takes a second.
Yep.
So keep going. Don't let anything stop you. Keep pushing through. Have fun.
Yep. You're not going
Awesome.
to get them sitting in bed.
No,
Or
you
sitting on a
definitely are
couch,
not.
right?
Get out there, enjoy America. All right. Bruce, Brandon, thank you guys so much. We're going to go ahead and post links to both the NWTF. Anything else you guys want us to post there, we'll put it in the links
Okay.
in the
Appreciate it.
description below.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.